Thursday, December 9th, 2021. We got a special guest hopping on with us today. Big Blaine Spencer coming on from the Final Whistle. Make sure you go check out his content, of course. Blaine calling in from California. We're doing this shit late night on the East Coast, dinner time on the West Coast. What's going on, Blaine? How's everything going?
Oh, I'm doing well, Joe. I mean, let's just be honest. We're getting on this right now. I just sat in 2 hours of rush hour traffic. I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's do it.
Got a little drinky poo in the system. He's really good. He's feeling good. I'm ready to take a nap. I'm taking pills to go to sleep, setting my alarm clocks, but here we are. We're going to hop into some serious football talk today, recapping games, headlines, and much more. But before we get right into that, we're going to check out our sponsor, Stateside Vodka. Make sure you go check out Stateside Vodka in Old Kensington, PA. If you use the promo code right now, fourth man up, you get 10% off the order when you buy a 1 liter bottle of vodka. You heard that right. Beautiful for the holiday season. You still get that order. You still get a little percentage off, 10% off your order if you use the promo code fourth man up. All right. We did this last week, and I got some good feedback from it, Blaine. It's called a little game called Overrated, Perfectly Rated, and Underrated. And it could be anything. You ready for this?
Could be anything.
Anything. It's not just sports. It could be anything.
Oh, goodness gracious. This is going to be a total nightmare.
Last week I had Boz and Nick Franks just sitting there like, I don't know. This is a good one. They were lost. They had no facial expression at all. It was hilarious. But let's get right started quick. Holiday season right around the corner. One of my favorite holiday movies, Home Alone, the movie series.
The movie series?
Yes, the whole series. The whole 5, 6, 7 of them. Not just the first two. The first two are at the top of the tier.
The first
That's
two
the
are
issue.
perfect rated if you could go there. That means if it's the whole series, I'm overrating it because the last four are absolute garbage.
Wow.
Garbo, dude. You got the first two, phenomenal. Different breed of Christmas movie. The rest of it, they're up here and they bring it way down.
Ooh.
Crash and burn. Gotta go underrated with the whole series. What do you got?
Underrated. So you're saying underrated?
No, overrated. Excuse me.
Overrated. All right. I'm still gonna go perfectly rated. I absolutely love the first two. Even the third one wasn't bad. Then they had the Smart House one, which was kind of cool. After that, it kind of dwindled its way down. But I think the first couple hold it up well enough that I think it's perfectly rated at least.
You are shooting for the stars early. You're digging your own grave, pal.
I love it. Well, let's get to another one here. Taylor Heineke.
You only did that because I'm a Washington fan.
Oh, yeah, big Washington football team fan. Playing a big Washington football team fan. I need to hear this one. Overrated, perfectly rated, or underrated?
He's overrated.
Overrated? What has the man done? He hasn't done anything yet. You can't even overrate him. He's been winning some football games for you, too.
Well, he ain't underrated, I'll tell you that. So he's not underrated, dude. Trayvon Moore dropped a pick 6 last week to ice that game against us. I watched the entire game. We had no business of being there at the end. I won't. All right. So I don't even know how you would rate him right now. I would rate him as a backup quarterback. All right. That's perfectly rated, I guess. I wouldn't he's a starter right now. That's why I would say he's overrated. I don't see him as a starting quarterback.
I think he's perfectly rated. I sometimes think slightly underrated because people expect him to be like a complete backup, sitting the bench, just collecting money from this football team for no reason. But actually, he's starting getting a little experience. He seems like he does have a little bit of a competitive edge and somewhat of a winner.
He has a fire. He definitely has a fire to him.
Exactly. Like you saw this year. I mean, he almost started almost the whole season so far. And he's been playing, especially as of late, he's been winning some big games. And when they played in the playoffs last year, he actually had a really good game against Tampa. So you can't really cut the man off completely for coming in as a backup quarterback.
He would be a Hall of Famer if he was able to play the Tampa Bay Bucks every week. Let's just be honest between those two games alone. He'd be a Hall of Fame quarterback if he got to play the Bucks every week.
That's facts. You're not wrong there. All right, let me get another one here for you. Adam Sandler.
Oh, Adam Sandler, perfectly rated. Man's a goat.
All right. That's the thing we can agree on. I'm a big fan of Adam Sandler and his movies. I love almost every single one of them I watch, and I'll tune into a lot of them. But I agree, he's perfectly rated.
Oh yeah, just watched Happy Gilmore the other day. Actually,
Ooh,
what a film!
well, that's it.
What a film!
Always. I just I was talking with Casey about it with Remember the Zohan. You remember that one?
Wow. Yeah, that's it. And that's an underrated film that he does. Look at that. I even tied it into your segment there.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Remember the
I
Zohan,
like
underrated Adam Sandler movie.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Everyone wants to go for Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, or Waterboy. Remember the Zohan. Yep. Low-key one, underrated, like you said. I like that. All right, I got one more, and then we're getting right into the segment because this will lead it right in. The New England Patriots.
Oh, God. The New England Patriots are perfectly rated.
All right.
As they are easily the top 2 team in the AFC. They're not my best team in the AFC at the moment, which will probably be a segue into what you want to talk about, but they are perfectly rated as a legit contender to represent the American Football Conference.
Wow. All right. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the same thing. I think it's perfectly rated as well. And we're going to hop right into that segment there. Patriots versus Bills, Monday Night Football. Pats winning 14-10. Weather was absolutely garbage. 30-mile-an-hour wind, snow coming down left or right. And the Pats did what the Pats do best, run the ball and play good defense. Couldn't you agree?
I mean, Mac Jones only had to throw the ball 3 bloody times. Bill Belichick literally dared Sean McDermott on the other side. He said, yeah, I'm just going to hand the ball off every damn play. Beat me. I will rely on my defense. I have a rookie quarterback. I'm not going to put him in a position to fail. We didn't even really put him in a position to do anything because he just turned around and handed the ball off. But still, he dared the Bills to beat them. And what did the Bills do? A Bills team, when you have expectations, they fall flat. And then when they don't have expectations, they rise to the occasion. They asked for those expectations. They got them. They didn't show up. I mean, the weather was horrible. You knew that game was going to be under 20 points. Whoever's got the 20 win, and we didn't even get there. I got the 14. So they had Buffalo dominated possession. They dominated the ball, yardage, all that. But when Bill really needed it in the red area, he locked them down.
Well, the thing is the Buffalo Bills are put together right now to beat Kansas City, as the juggernaut team coming out of the AFC. But Bill doesn't care about other teams. Bill cares about his team and his team only. And honestly, one of the best coaching performances I've almost ever seen in my lifetime was that of Monday night with Bell and McDaniels running the show. You passed the ball 3 times in an NFL game and still won. Like, I don't think people realize how impressive that is. Like, that's like some shit from the 60s and 50s and 40s when they couldn't pass the ball at all. And to only run it 3 times in that type of weather and still win a big divisional game, that's impressive to me.
And you got to almost credit the mental strength of McDaniels too, because he wanted to throw the ball so flipping bad. And yet he kept saying to himself and telling Mac, we're running the ball. We're going to stick to this game plan that we created probably about only the day before, because they didn't know the weather was going to be that bad until about Sunday. So they were just like, we're going to go with this. And he probably wanted to throw the ball every other down, but it is what it is. And you got to give credit to the entire New England staff. And you got to credit Mac Jones for not audibling out of plays. He probably doesn't have that with the will to be able to do that yet and go up face to face with his coaching staff. But to even think about it, quite impressive. And then what do you say on the other side? Buffalo can't do another big game. And the issue was for me is that was their make it or break it game for me. They were my representative in the Super Bowl. Were.
Okay.
No longer anymore. I have
All right.
officially, my ship has sailed on the Buffalo Bills being in the Super Bowl.
I would have taken more, I think, if the weather was in better shape. Like, you're talking 30, 40 mile an hour winds. Like, that doesn't happen that often, and neither does the snow. And I agree. When Bills have the expectations placed on them, they usually do not show up. I completely agree. Big fan of Josh Allen. Really like him. Really like what he can do, especially even Diggs, too, as well. I think the offense is potent. It's not as good as last year, unfortunately. And the defense is, I think, as good as last year. But the loss of, oh my God, what is his name?
Tre'Davious White.
That's a Tre'Davious White, the
Massive
cornerback.
loss. That changes their whole defensive scheme because, you don't have half of the field locked up.
Correct. And so I think that's a huge loss for them too. But credit to the Pats for the big turnaround that they had from last year, even the year before, to now, like having a quarterback being able to play the way he is, being able to run the ball the way that they can as well. With Damian Harris, I had high expectations for Damian Harris, and he's producing well. And then even the Stevenson kid, I remember watching him in preseason versus the Eagles here on TV, and I was like, man, that kid can run. If he gets a little bit of an opportunity, he's going to be able to play good ball. And now you're seeing it. Stevenson's getting a little bit of the touches, play good ball.
Were we really going to count Bill out, though? Did we really think? I thought they were going to be a borderline playoff.
I had him in the playoffs when we did the playoff predictions on here. I had them in the playoffs for the 7th seed.
I didn't see them being the team. I can say that right now. But I saw them as a playoff team. They are exceeding expectations right now for sure. There's no question. But you can only credit the greatness that is Bill Belichick out of that. So
100%. I mean, it certainly seemed like it's going to be lining up to be a big Bill the GOAT Belichick versus Tom Brady, and that would just be incredible, wouldn't it?
Football gods, I wouldn't even care. I'm praying to you now. My Washington football team still has a chance. I don't care. Give me that Super Bowl one time. We can settle this debate in the biggest stage at SoFi one time. Come on.
I agree. It would be absolutely incredible. It would be electric. And honestly, then after that, I don't want any of them to ever make the Super Bowl again. That's it. Just move along. Let me get new teams in after that. But that's just to settle it all. If Belichick gets there and is like, all right, Brady, I'm here. I know what you can do. Let's see who's better. Mano y mano now. Here we go. And I would love it. Absolutely love it. Go back to that game real quick before we move on to the next. Do you take too much out of that game? And should the Bills be concerned?
I'm not taking too much out of it. I mean, again, weather played a huge factor. But the huge component that I did have was the post-game. How they were reacting after the loss. The questions that the media was asking, going back at the media. The New England Patriots are right in here. They're in their head. There is no doubt about it. So I'm going to be really intrigued to see. I think they play again in 3 weeks, I believe.
2 weeks.
3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks, yep.
Something like that. Up in Foxborough, you're going to really see if they're going to be up for that challenge. And if they're competitive, I won't be worried. But if they get run out of the water, if it's not like close 2 scores, you know that they're done. That they're like done. Like they might be falling a full cliff off and not even make the postseason because both conferences are so tight right now. I would not be surprised if the Bills fall apart. I really wouldn't.
Wow.
I think that New England game is going to be a predetermined of how the rest of their season is going to go.
I could see it. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think the difference that maker was this weather. You know, Bills are a mainly pass offense for sure. They do run the ball here and there, but they are mainly a pass offense, and unfortunately, you just can't really pass the ball in that type of weather, and you have to transition to the ground game. But you know the Pats, they're able to run the ball no problem. But the Bills are not really built for that, unfortunately. So when you take the passing game away through just weather-wise, you're already at an advantage according to with the defense. So I think maybe playing in Foxborough with the weather potentially being better than what it was on Monday night, I think the Bills stand a better chance than they did on Monday.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
All right. Let's move on to another game here. Another big game. Chargers versus Bengals. Chargers winning 41-22. Chargers came out with an impressive lead in the first half, but the Bengals did put up a fight until the pick six was thrown by Joe Burrow that ultimately swung the momentum back to the Chargers. Burrow, I don't know if you did see, had a dislocated finger about like midway through the second. That thing was jacked up, swollen as hell, and then he had to fight through it. But good win by the Chargers, especially at Cincinnati. Chargers have seen at times where they haven't been the Chargers team that we've kind of all expected them to be. You know, this playoff caliber team that potentially could be fighting for, you know, number 2, number 3 seed at times. And then we've seen the opposite Chargers where it's like the team that just completely sucks, blows up, loses leads in the fourth quarter, and then can't hit a field goal at the end. So I'm glad to see a good Chargers win. What'd you think of that game?
The biggest takeaway out of that game is that more than anything is that they actually they took the reins off of Justin Herbert a little bit. They've started to slowly do that. You saw that a little bit last week, and then you really saw it this past weekend in the Bengals matchup. They're giving him the offense. You're letting him just methodically pick apart defenses. You know he's got the arm talent. You know he can do it. He's got all the weapons on the outside. Eckler in the backfield. That's not the issue. It's just like you could see the play calling had been restricting them when they went on that little bit of a skid. And they've opened it back up for him. They're allowing him to be more call checks at the line. You're seeing a little bit of everything. But my bigger takeaway was that they pretty much, that game was going to be Cincinnati's to lose in that third quarter. If my guy, Joe Mixon, lived right down this on the other side of Brentwood, where I'm at right now, from me, went to my rival high school, smoked me in track and field all day, every day. But he fumbled in that third quarter. They were going down the field to take the lead. They were down 24-0, dead in the water, and they were in the third quarter. They were ready to take control of that game if Mixon doesn't fumble, and it was a scoop and score going the other way.
Yeah.
Completely changed the momentum, and pretty much put the Bengals' sails and said, "Nope, you guys are done for the day. Game's going to be over. You guys aren't going to be competitive in the second half." So that was my bigger takeaway. I took away. I learned more about the Bengals this past week than I actually learned about the Chargers, in my opinion, and they lost. I really did.
Some of the notes I took from watching that game is they're really like you're beginning to see like Eckler start deteriorating a little bit now that he's been healthy a whole season. Being used like constantly. I noticed a lot during that game. Like he didn't have the quickness that he did have. I think he even fumbled maybe twice. He only lost, I think, one of them, if I'm not mistaken.
He's on my fantasy team. He did lose a fumble.
I could tell like he was slowly getting deteriorated, getting tired. Where Eckler seemed like he was the Energizer Buddy the last 3 to 4 years. The man like never ran out of juice. But I noticed a little bit in that game that I could tell like he was getting tired out a little bit more. And you know, maybe that's just for him being healthy, actually, for like one of the first times ever, almost it seems like, through a whole season so far. Well,
you know this. If his followers don't know, I actually interviewed Austin. It was probably one of the cooler experiences that I've ever done. And one of the questions that I asked him was, "You're coming off of the injury. How do you get yourself back into game shape?" And he said a lot of that's just trying to get myself through the entire season. I wasn't able to do that last year. Wasn't able to really do that. Then he was splitting time with Melvin Gordon, so he hadn't really had that full load. So I think that really points to what you took note of in that game, is that you're starting to see maybe a potential decline there. I think it's more just him trying to finally figure out getting the whole payload and getting the whole load of the brunt of the work at the running back position.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, if you really think about it, there's not a lot of the workhorse backs. And Eckler, actually, if you kind of think about it, is one. They don't really bring in Joshua Kelly in that much. And is it Justin Jackson, I believe, or J.C. Jackson? Justin Jackson.
Yep.
They would use him sparingly, but it's a lot of the times it's Eckler, because Eckler gives you the good ground game, and on top is a great pass catcher. So you're getting both worlds that are great. So I understand him getting tired. You're playing 70, 80, 90 snaps at sometimes a game, in that offense. So it gets tough. You get tiring out. And same thing, with a lot of these other running backs like Najee Harris. I mean, he's a rookie, but he plays constantly 3-down back. Derrick Henry, fortunately, he got injured. Even he was almost a 3-down back, and sometimes they just never pulled him out. He'd play there 3rd down. It was incredible. But yeah, I could just slowly see him getting tired, especially midway through that 3rd quarter and 4th quarter. And the other big thing I'm noticing, Brandon Staley. He comes in, guy known as the guy with the Rams defense, making them all that great. This Chargers defense really isn't that good. They're like bottom of the league, like 30th or worse in both statistical categories. And it's not good at all. It's just not good at all. It's unbelievable. And now Bosa might be out. He got a concussion, I saw. So, yeah, this team doesn't look good defensively.
No, they are a defensive liability for sure. And you could see it. You were seeing the glimpses. You've seen glimpses all year. You see, other than the Washington and Dallas game in those first 2 weeks where they held them to 20 or under in those 2 matchups, they really haven't slowed anybody down since. And they're very reliant, like most defenses really are in the NFL nowadays, is that when you become turnover reliant to create turnovers, you start to see the field as, when are we going to make that play? You're not thinking about trying to think about your defensive scheme or what they're lining up in or what the offense is trying to run to get to score. You're just thinking about, how am I going to be able to make a play on the ball and create a turnover? So that's what I really see from Brandon Staley's defense. And you got to also think, when he was coming over from the Rams, you don't have Aaron Donald or Jalen Ramsey out there either. He's got Derwin James, absolute stud, but he's also coming off an injury too. And Joey Bosa. Yeah. And then Joey Bosa also who's potentially injured. So yeah, 2 guys that can stay healthy and not 2 guys that really can't stay healthy. It makes a huge impact too.
I agree. One thing I did like about what Brandon Staley did, Bosa did have a concussion and was cleared to come back. I don't know if you got a chance to see this video. And it was asked in the press conference afterwards, like, why didn't you allow Bosa to come back in the game? Because I know how Bosa is with his concussions. He's had a couple over the last few seasons now, and I just didn't want to have something bad happen to him, especially with the amount of concussions he had, whether he's cleared or not. So that's why he said, I held him out as my decision. I was like, you know what? I feel like a lot of coaches should do that more. Like, all right, if you have like one, it's your first one or second one, and like you are actually cleared, like, all right, come back in the game, you're fine. But, you got to think about these guys' health and safety after the NFL or even next week or even the following week or something of that sort. And I feel like Brandon Staley did that, and kudos to him for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. You could see that team rallies around him. And I think that's one of the caveats is that he's making decisions and they trust those decisions, like going for it on 4th down in their own half all the time this season. 4th and 8 from the 50-yard line. Let's go for it. Let's try and win the game. Let's not play to lose. And then, of course, protecting your players, taking the decision out of their hands, because their whole goal is to get back on that football field. So sometimes you need to have that mindset of saying, I got to think about my player and what his future holds, not what this game holds. Do I really need the victory? What I really want is to be able to have him healthy past his career, but I also want to be able to have him in position where we can make a postseason run too. You don't want to put that in jeopardy.
Couldn't agree more. But the other thing I also want to say, you got trust in Staley, but they have trust in Herbert big time. I think Herbert has proved himself to be potentially even a top 5 quarterback at times this year. To lead a team and win a game. And that's transitioning to my next question would you rather want Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow for the future?
Wow.
We're here for the questions. You know that.
I know you are.
Question.
It's a great question. Hell of a question for sure. For me, from what I've seen, and I'm a West Coast guy. I've seen more Oregon games than I have seen LSU games, of course, when Burrow took them to the Natty. So I'm going to lean Justin Herbert. Was I a little bit skeptical like everybody else coming out of the draft? Of course. Because what Burrow did that year, the same draft class, Burrow moved his way all the way up from like a mid-round pick to the number 1 overall pick. And Herbert, who was the presumptive number 1 overall pick, slid to 6. Now I feel bad for Miami because Miami really messed up more than anybody else. Because at least since he still has a future quarterback there, I don't know about the whole Tua situation. He's playing okay right now. Don't get me wrong.
Slow your roll.
Slow in the roll. But still, for me, I would go with Justin Herbert. Just the prototypical, he's 6'6", he's 220, he can run, he has the arm talent, he has the accuracy, he can make ball placements on, precision. He's got all of the traits that I really like, and nothing phases him. You know what I mean? He's got that same emotional expression throughout the game, whether he's doing well or if he's doing awful. So that even keel really sells me in a quarterback that like you're not going to let that phase you. You're going to go out that next possession and really try to make a play, and you'll throw it on that very next play.
Couldn't agree more. I actually would take Justin Herbert as well. I think both quarterbacks are very comparable. You know, one might be better than the other in certain ways, advantages and disadvantages.
Small,
but the big one to me is Joe Burrow has already been injured once, and Justin Herbert hasn't been. And especially it being a major injury in the ACL and could potentially come back and haunt him later on in his career. Herbert looks like he can still move well and he can run a little bit. Didn't he just have like 90 yards, I think, game before this one versus was it like Oakland or something like it? Like 90 yards. Like Joe Burrow would never run for 90 yards down. Never. Maybe last year he would have. But now with his ACL injury and the knee and that, it's just like he gets banged up so much, like banged up. And I think Cincinnati may seem like to have the better potential offensively, being better for years to come. I think the Chargers are right there. I think Mike Williams is still young enough to have talent for them for hopefully years to come. I love Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen at times can be a top 7 wide receiver in the league.
We're going to learn a lot about them now with Keenan testing positive for COVID.
Yeah, he'll be out this week.
I think this will be a good test to really see because Allen's been on the field all the time for him, and that's his go-to. I want to see how he can play with his number 1 option off the field. That'd be really intriguing for me this week. Maybe to
go to the run a little bit more. You never know. Maybe they use Eckler.
Feed my guy, Austin Eckler. Feed my guy.
That's your boy right there. I like Herbert still because I got him in 1 or 2 fantasy leagues.
I got Herbert and Eckler in 1 league.
Fantasy football time, baby. You know, you got to care about that. Playoffs
rolling through the Chargers. The Chargers are my life right now.
There you go. Holding on, baby. And, all right, let's get to one last game here before we get into some serious questions here. Lions versus Vikings. Lions get the first win.
My Detroit, baby! They did it!
Motor City Dan Campbell was hyped versus that Vikings team, 29-27. They won. Jared Goff leading them down the field for a game-winning drive. And I'll tell you what, I've never been more mad at a game because the Vikings screwed up big time. And here's the reason.
No, so that was going to be my question. Is this more good Lions or bad Vikings?
No. I'll get to that answer, but here's why I was furious about that game. So I'm sitting here and watching it, and Vikings had the ball. It just hit the 2-minute mark, and I believe it was 2nd down. Okay, so they ran the ball on 3rd down. They tried to get the clock down to about a minute 20, I guess minute 30 it was. Well, they decided to pass the ball on 3rd down and scored the touchdown. That's what they did. In reality, I really thought they should have run the ball and probably kicked the field goal, right? And they would have been up 1. Would have helped me because I took the under in that game. But as soon as I saw Justin Jefferson score that touchdown in the back of the end zone, I go, I hope the Lions come down and kick their ass because now the under's screwed. So I was like, all right, Lions, go ahead and score the touchdown. And you know what I ended up doing? I sprinkled a little bit of money line on the Lions right before they got the ball. So, yeah, I was pretty happy. The Vikings can go screw themselves. Kirk Cousins can't win a game in prime time and needs to get the hell out of Minnesota. I don't care about him. Zimmer can go. That whole team is dead to me. In the water, dead. But no, get back to it. I like this Lions team. I have for the last at least 5 to 6 weeks, and here's the reason why. This team plays hard for Motor City Dan Campbell. They run the ball well. Jared Goff stinks, but he's doing his best he can with the wide receivers he has. He's got Joe Blow out there on the left side, and I don't know, Mean Joe Green on the right. I don't know who the hell he has out there at all. They got Josh Reynolds now. Finally, they got a wide receiver for Jared Goff to throw to. But no, I like this team. I like the Lions team. I thought they were going to play hard. I thought this was the game that they might be able to win, even though I actually thought they were going to maybe win versus the Steelers. But I thought this game, specifically divisional game at home, have a chance to beat the Vikings without Dalvin Cook, without Adam Thielen after the first quarter. Kirk Cousins stinks, like I just said. So they had a shot. And I'm happy for them.
And that was Joseph Chichilitti's Bad Beats of Bets, your weekly edition.
Literally, they were the only game that screwed me over the parlay. That's why I was pissed, too.
Oh, it's the parlay. It's what gets you. The parlay always gets you right there. No, I feel your pain there, my guy. Luckily, in California, betting is not legalized yet, so I haven't been able to throw a little dibble-dabble in there recently, so can't be yelling at the TV as much. But I agree. I think so. I'd been picking my dad's survivor pool for like the last couple of weeks, and I kept telling him to take Detroit. And so we took them on Thanksgiving. We were like, oh, they got it. This is the only chance that they're going to be on prime TV television all year long. They got Andy Dalton, and they found a way to lose. And
that was a close game, though. It was a real close game.
The team fights. The team plays for Dan Campbell, which is impressive. They do not have much talent on that squad, other than probably Deontay. Is it Deontay or DeAndre Swift? I can't even.
DeAndre Swift. And their offense isn't like awful.
Hawkins is solid.
Their offense, I would say, is more in the 20s.
Okay.
Their defense is god awful. That's their issue.
Their defense couldn't stop a cold.
No shot.
Couldn't stop a cold. The Detroit Lion defense. But most importantly, I felt happy for Jared Goff in that moment. I was just like, you're part of this whole Matthew Stafford trade. You knew the Rams were going to be good with him or without him. It was going to be a real telling sign of how he played in Detroit, because Matthew Stafford helped them win a lot of games that they were when they were a really bad football team. And they had been in all those tight games, losing any way imaginable this year. They had found so many different ways to lose. It was crazy throughout this entire season. And most importantly, on that final drive, that was not good Lions. That was awful Vikings. How, on the last play of the game, are you giving them 5 yards of cushion in the end zone? In the end zone.
I thought
that
the same
DB
thing.
had a pick in the game. He had an interception in the game. I don't remember his name. But there's probably an APB out for him right now in the state of Minnesota. They can't find him. How do you play that far off? It is ridiculous. I could have made that throw to you. That's how easy it was.
It was awful. It was so bad. I don't know what he was trying to do.
We could have won that game, and we don't play football.
We just talk about it. That's all we do. Make sure you go check out the final whistle here in the Fourth Man On podcast. You know how to. No, but you were exactly right. Like, I watched the replay of it, and I'm like, all right, like, is he trying to like tempt him in? Like, trying to get him to throw the ball so he can pick it off or like bat it down easier? Like, I'm watching, and I'm like, exactly. He was 5 yards off in the end zone. I'm like, why are you leaving the front of the end zone open? Like, you could even throw it before and just jump in.
And it wasn't just him. If you watch the sky cam angle of it, the entire team was 4 yards deep in the end zone.
Interesting.
In the entire secondary. It made no sense. I was like, you're giving them the game right here. He could throw it to anybody. It was
unbelievable. I was shocked. By the defense at Zimmer.
I actually celebrated.
Oh,
My dad threw his phone. He was so mad because it was the first week that he didn't take Detroit in the pool. So he
Oh,
was like, of
man.
course, the third time.
That's funny. That's funny. All right. Well, those are the 3 games to do the recap for. I do have a couple more headline and questions here for Big Blaine Spencer.
Lay it on me,
Football. Fantasy football is here, man. You know how it is. So we're playoff time. So we actually are also looking ahead to next year, 2022. I need your top 5 in order fantasy football wise draft next year.
So just any 5 players that I would draft right now.
Yeah, 1 through 5.
So okay.
You have the first overall pick next year. Who will you take?
Who am I taking? First overall.
It's a big thing right now. Been on all the social medias, and everyone's like, oh, well, some of the teams are like, they're done. Playoffs are right around the corner. So a lot of these bad teams need to start focusing in for 2022. So they're starting to put content out for that. So I'm like, yeah, you know what?
Oh, okay.
That's interesting. Who is it?
Who is my top player for the 2022? If I have the number 1 overall pick, I am taking. I'm trying to do math in my head. I'm probably gonna go running back.
Okay.
And I will be taking Mr. Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints. Why? Because he does it in 3 phases. Pass catching, rushing, special teams on the occasion.
Okay.
You understand that he's going to, for the Saints to win football games, it's like, for me, it's between him and McCaffrey.
McCaffrey?
I think McCaffrey's due he's due for a year. He's due. He really is. After how bad these past 2 years. But Kamara, they have to get 25 to 30 touches to him for them to win a game.
Oh, easily. Yes, absolutely.
So he's going to get touches. He's going to get the ball. So I would go with Alvin Kamara as the number 1 overall pick. Who you got? I'm
going to still go with my man, Derrick Henry, number 1. Got to be Derrick Henry. The man is a beast, and I know he's coming off the injury. I understand that, and his workload is sometimes in question, and he's getting near that 26 to 27-year-old range that we usually see running backs decline. But the man is incredible. He is literally a walking 5 yards a carry no matter what every time he touches the ball. Got to go Derrick Henry, still number 1 for me, man.
I can't argue with that. That is a quality draft pick. I can't argue with it. But the only thing that I have with Tennessee is that he needs, with them, they have to go max package, or they have to go big package. They got to go 21 set, 2 tight ends, 1 running back. They can't run out of 3 wide receiver sets anymore because they're not gonna. Tannehill can't throw.
No, Tannehill could throw though. He proved himself last year a little bit. He's hurt this year. He's hurting this year. But next year they come out. Henry's back healthy. Julio's hamstrings are hopefully patched up together. And
Julio, he's your guy, Mr. Atlanta. He's your guy. The man.
That's it.
The man needs has been hurt so much. He really needs to consider calling it.
Yeah, I know that, but we traded for him. We traded away. We got to go. We got to pick for him. I moved on. I'm a Falcons fan. We moved on. We got to do what we got to do. All right, let me get that second overall pick. So you taking CMC number 2?
No, I would take I'm trying to think. McCaffrey would probably be gone, but yeah, I would probably take McCaffrey too if I had the opportunity. If I had 5 straight picks, I'd go McCaffrey too.
Yeah, we're gonna go 5 straight picks here. That's what we got to think here.
Yeah, I'd go McCaffrey.
All right, McCaffrey too. I'm gonna go with Jonathan Taylor at number 2. The O-line is incredible.
You are just
only
going
a
full bulldozer running back. You're not thinking about receptions, none of that. You just want yards and ground and pound.
Absolutely. Jonathan Taylor playing good ball right now, getting touchdowns out the wazoo as well. So I need to go Jonathan Taylor, number 2 for me. All right, who got number 3?
I would go Derrick Henry 3.
Derrick Henry 3. All right. I'm number 3. It's a tough one for me, but I think I'm going to go CMC. You got to go with the potential on the upside, but hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully he stays healthy. That's all I can say. All right, number 4.
Number 4, I'm actually going to throw a receiver in right here. Give me Devontae Adams.
Wow.
Let's go, regulation start!
You want to know why? Because hot take, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is leaving.
Wow. Yeah, we'll get into that. That's for later on when this all gets figured out. But so you got Devontae Adams. See, I've seen Cooper Kupp at 4 too. People are reaching on Cooper Kupp now.
That's a reach, bro. There's too much talent coming back for the Rams. You have to spread the wealth too much. There's only so much sprinkle and gold that Matthew Stafford could spritz around.
My number 4, I am going to have to go with Alvin Kamara. I love Alvin Kamara. I actually think he's the best back in the league when healthy. I made that statement.
Exactly why he's my number 1.
I know. Made that statement countless of times, but the issue is I don't know who their quarterback will be next year. So I need to know that before taking Alvin Kamara, because if it's Taysom Hill, he probably drops out of that 4 spot for me and maybe drops down more to the 6 spot or 7. If it is Jameis, yeah, oh, exactly. If it is Jameis Winston, though, which I do anticipate it to be, I would say then yes, he sits more close to that 4 spot for me. So
numero 5 to round it out.
Finish it off.
Hey, you're Jonathan Taylor, Mr. Ground and Pound himself.
What?
Because and you're starting to see him be incorporated a little bit more in the pass game. He's not he's not a 3-down back with Hines there right now, with Nyheim Hines as a 3rd-down guy. But you're starting to see him be incorporated a little bit more in the passing game on those 1st and 2nd downs. I think the real issue with Indy is that they need to make sure that they don't stray away from their game plan of giving him the ball. Because you've seen that happen to them a couple times this year when they think the game's getting away with them and they want to rely on little Carson to bring them back.
I agree. And my number 5 to finish it off is we talked about him a lot already, Austin Eckler. Man can catch out of the backfield, man can run.
Eckler's my 6.
Yeah, that 5 to 7 range really could be open between Eckler. I think Dalvin Cook also could be in consideration. And I also think Najee Harris as well. Najee Harris been playing good ball too as well. He's a top 5 fantasy football running back right now. So you also got to consider him, real true bell cow out of the backfield. So that's
absolutely.
That's my top 5, but I'm glad we went through that because that was all this new stuff coming out right now. So I'm like, all right, let's talk about it a little bit. All right, quarterbacks of the future. My last headline. Quarterbacks of the future. I'm going to give you 3. And you're going to tell me, should you keep them or should you move on?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so it's just keep them or leave them.
Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater in Denver.
Leave them.
Leave them. I like it.
No offense to Teddy Two Gloves. Love me some Teddy Two Gloves. But with that team right now, they are a quarterback away with the talent they have on the outside, in my opinion. Hamler, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. I know the AFC West is difficult, but they should be leading the division right now, but they've thrown away the easy games. Denver
I completely disagree. I think he should stay there at least for another year or 2.
For
I think Denver.
What? For what? Why? Why would Denver invest in him?
Hear me out. You're not investing. It's only a year or 2. It's a bridge gap. All right. Hear me out, though.
That's all he is a bridge quarterback. You need to think about down the line.
Think about it. Who are you going to get on the market right now that would be better than Teddy Bridgewater? That's doable to get.
Right now. Aaron Rodgers. Denver was in that race. Denver was in that race.
You're going to plug in Aaron Rodgers and this team's a Super Bowl team.
Yes. Any team with Aaron Rodgers is a Super Bowl team.
All right, I disagree on that one.
No. Well, we're not leaving that now. What do you mean any team when that doesn't have Aaron Rodgers is not a Super Bowl team?
No shot. I mean, I agree. Denver is a good team, and he will have a crap ton of weapons and have a good running back. But I don't know if this defense would be able to hold up
Bradley
that
Chubb isn't
much.
even playing.
They have been playing well. But I said Aaron Rodgers comes on his team. I don't think they're still a Super Bowl team. Still don't think they're a Super Bowl team. But here's my reasoning why they should keep Teddy Bridgewater.
If I was
Carolina.
sitting next to you right now, I would have walked off the set.
Carolina took Teddy and traded him away for Sam Darnold because they thought Teddy Bridgewater wasn't all that. They wanted to get Pitts, so they tried to get a younger guy in there, and see how he would experience in here and hopefully pull out to be better. Well, Sam Darnold sucks still, obviously. We've seen that over this last couple 8 to 10 games.
Are we surprised?
I'm a big Sam Darnold guy, so no, I was kind of shocked a little bit. But then they bring in even better Cam Newton. The man can't throw more than 25% completion passes. So yeah, he's back. I don't give a shit. They still suck. So the thing is they should have never traded Teddy Bridgewater away because they didn't have the quarterback yet for the future. So that's what I'm saying. Teddy B is the bridge gap to having that franchise quarterback for Denver. If you bring in Rodgers, you need to win that next year, 100%.
100%. I couldn't. All right, this is my own. This is where I will meet you in the middle. This is a bad draft class for quarterbacks, so you really can't invest in there. And that's where I would agree with you that there may not be another option. I think you might even try and go in your own division, see if you can steal Mariota away from the Raiders. Give that a shot.
Is Mariota more of an upgrade compared to Teddy Bridgewater? I would say no.
Mobility, the offensive line is not that good from what we saw on Sunday night.
I agree, but I would not take Mariota. I would still take Teddy Bridgewater over him. There's only one person I think Denver should make a trade for just because he still is younger on the side, and is Russell Wilson, and that is it.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, that's doable to go get. That's what I'm saying. And I guess Derek Carr, if you really wanted to, but I don't know if the Raiders would be willing to give him up.
That's why I was saying Mariota, because I don't think they'll let Derek Carr go.
Yeah, so he's the other one. But that is my reasoning behind Teddy. So disagree / agree, kind of both ends for me and you, I guess. So we'll leave it at that. And I'm going to go one more. We'll skip my second one here. We're going to go one more. Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia.
You're only doing this because you guys are basically in Philly and Jersey area.
Oh, last week I had a ball with this and Jalen Hurts and Gardner Minshew. I already planned out what was going to happen, and two of the 5 things have hit already. So that's what I know.
I think you keep Jalen Hurts.
You keep Jalen Hurts?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you're starting to finally see the potential there. Yes, he was out this last week. Come on. You knew Minshew was going to light up the Jets. It's the Jets. Robert Saleh can't even get his players to play. And CJ Mosley's out there whining that they're getting laughed at on the field. That's you, bro. Do something about it. Hit somebody. Y'all can't do anything. You guys are atrocious. I think you would stick with Jalen. All right, you go ahead. You said you hit 2 of the 5 of these things. So what did we hit?
So last week I already said, Gardner Minshew if he plays versus the Jets. And at the time I didn't know. So, but obviously he did now. I said, if Gardner Minshew plays, he will throw for upwards of near 300 yards versus the Jets and play very well and will win the game. And it was pretty close. I don't think he got to 300, but he looked very well. He completed a lot of passes. Dallas Goedert had one of his best games of his career. He looked really good. The offense moved great. Honestly, the defense was the issue for especially that first half. So I said, all right, that's my first one. My second point was this. You're going to now go into the bye week. The sports talk radio, the Twitter of Philadelphia, everything going on around here, everyone's talking, well, maybe Gardner Minshew should be the starter. Maybe this, maybe that. Jalen Hurts maybe isn't our guy. Maybe we should give Gardner a shot. Maybe Gardner should be playing, after this. It's exactly what sports media has been doing this last week. It's exactly what they've been doing. And I said, all right, the next thing could go either way. The coach will either say, nope, Jalen's going to be our guy and be on a little bit of a shorter leash. So don't be surprised if he doesn't play well, within that first half, Gardner comes in the second half. Or B, Gardner comes in and just plays right from the start. So now that's where I'm at the crossroad here because I didn't really know which one to take yet. So that's why I put both out there. But that's going to be the third one. So if that third one hits, we're off the races. I might put a parlay in that might actually hit.
And the issue is, Nick Sirianni can't give a straight answer. So he'll go with Hurts, but as soon as he'll yank I think he'll yank him.
Yeah.
Because he knows
but here,
they're still in the race. They're still in the race. You have to.
They have a really good shot to actually be like the sixth wild card spot, or the sixth overall seed, second wild card spot. But the big reason here, Blaine, is this city loves the underdog story and loves their backup quarterbacks. That's why I have the reasoning behind all this. Philadelphia loves that underdog story. Nick Foles being the guy winning the Super Bowl after Carson Wentz had the MVP season. And now the same thing here. Gardner Minshew comes in, looks great. Why not give him a shot? This offense is more suited for a passing quarterback that can complete open passes where Jalen Hurts is not that. Jalen Hurts runs the ball way more and misses open guys way more by passing and by his eyes and can't control the pocket well. I personally think Jalen Hurts needs to get the hell out because he does not fit that team well.
That's intriguing. And that take isn't far off because when Jalen went in for Carson, they rallied around him because he was the backup at that time. The city of Philadelphia really can't rally behind a starting quarterback except when it's Donovan McNabb at the helm. That's about it. And they barely did that. More. And they barely did that.
Yeah, they were trying to get him out every second possible. I will tell you that. So, all right, well, quick look ahead to Week 14 matchups that are intriguing. We got the Bills versus Bucks this week at 4:25. Rams versus Cardinals Monday Night Football. And there is 7 divisional matchups this week on the board. A lot to be played for in division this week.
The one matchup that really I'm going to be watching is, my team without a name, baby. My Washington football team. Team that's got no name. Going against them. How about them Cowboys?
Hey, it's going to be a good one.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, if we beat them on Sunday, they're going to fold and we're going to win the division.
I had you guys winning the division. I got a little bit.
I'm telling you, if we have a shot going into that fourth quarter, they're going to fold. They're going to fold. I honestly don't think we're going to win this weekend, but if we've got a shot, we win that game, Dallas is going to collapse. I really think that.
Well, this is a perfect segment to bring it right in. I know he's not here, but he sent me his picks, and Boz's bets of the week are here.
Boz's bets of the week.
And one of them is Washington +4 versus the Cowboys. He likes Washington +4 this week. His other 3 to add on, Steelers money line Thursday night versus the Vikings. He likes them a lot. The Bengals overcoming that loss last week versus the 49ers. He's taking the Bengals money line there. And Monday Night Football, he absolutely loves them. Kyler Murray, he's taking them. Cardinals -2.5 versus the Rams. He likes them there as well. So that's his 4 teams right there. Steelers.
Cardinals lock up the division, or not the division, but they're playoffs and in if they win.
They do. I think Green Bay has the same chance too as well this week as well. I think they're the only 2 teams that have a chance to. But that is Boz's bets right there. Steelers money line, Washington +4, Bengals money line, and Cardinals -2. Make sure you go hammer them on your local sports betting app, of course. Except you, Blaine, you can't do that shit.
Don't worry, I won't go off site. Don't worry.
All right, and before we wrap this thing up, we had great news today. The GOAT, Tiger Woods, back playing at PNC with his child, his son, Charlie. What do you think about this one, Blake?
I mean, more than anything, it was just great to see him, this last week at Hero down in the Bahamas, him actually doing a press conference. It was just like,
Looking swole. Dude, he was juiced.
He was looking good. Man was looking good. He was like, nah, I'm going to need a little bit to play some tour golf. I was like, I think you might be able to do it right now.
Them legs look like chicken legs, but them arms were swole.
Swole. I think this is going to be I know it's going to be a fun event, and I think it's great because him and Charlie had a blast last year, and he doesn't have to really walk around. They already said that he's going to probably have permission to be in a cart, so he can wheel around, hit some clubs, show everybody they still got the iron play, say, I'll double dabble a little bit today. And he probably won't he might not even, honestly, he might hit probably like 5 drives the entire day, and he'll just play off of Charlie.
Probably, absolutely.
Because I think that's what he did last year. He just let Charlie hit first, and if Charlie striped one, we'll just play with Charlie's ball.
Yep. Because I think Charlie's like ahead of him by like 70, 80 yards.
Yeah,
and Charlie's smacking it out there.
And the course is short for him, so.
Yes. But I'm excited.
I'm very excited. It's gonna be sick. I will be tuned in. Just because it's it's Tiger Woods, of course.
Yeah, I'm just excited to hear that he's doing okay, especially coming off that accident. Back in February it was. So coming off, 10 months off, being able to play golf, at a leisurely/competitive rate, to get the juices back going. And I know as soon as he gets on that course, he's gonna be feeling himself. He's gonna try to win that thing. Like, you just know it. Him and Charlie got a little bit of juice with it, going it, winning this match, and then coming out in Augusta time in April, and he's ready to take the Masters once again. Tiger Woods just juicing me up even more. He's going to win the Masters. He's going to win the U.S. Open. He's going to win the Open. I can't wait for it. Tiger Woods is back, baby.
Hammer it, people. Do not hammer
He's winning it all.
Do not hammer
it. No, not at all.
But I think most importantly, of course, for the both of us, we're glad to see him that he's playing, but we're happy that he's healthy. And we just hope that he can stay healthy, just have that opportunity to be with his kids, that he can actually be out there. And because his kids have just seen him hurt since they've been really little. So just to have him healthy, that he can be around him and have just a normal life, even if they said he might play golf in a limited capacity, which for the sports fan is, salivating at the mouth right now, because you didn't even think you were going to get the chance of seeing him at all. But You really just want to have hope that everything goes well. He can stay healthy and really just enjoy himself with his family and his friends.
I couldn't agree more. I think actually him doing this limited capacity is going to be great for him. I really, really do. I think instead of him playing like week in and week out, and even like playing 2 or 3 weeks straight and then taking off, I think that was even a lot for him. But where he can pick and choose where he wants to play, plays the 4 majors. We actually were talking about it off air last week, like what he could potentially be playing next year. It was like 4 majors, maybe the players.
I don't think he'll play a U.S. Open.
I think he does. I think he plays it all. I think he plays.
You think he'll play? I think the U.S. Open's going to be the toughest one to hit for him to navigate. I think he can do the Masters and the PGA for sure, because those two are more scorers golf courses. He knows the Masters like the back of his hand. PGA is more of a place where it's more fairway driver friendly, and the Open and U.S. Open hills, you got to really work on your game. Weather might be a factor in either of those.
Okay. I could see it. I think he plays in all 4.
You think he's actually going to play in all 4 and then play 1 or 2 other tournaments then, like 5 or 6 times a year?
Yeah, I was going to say I think he could get away with 2 tournaments, kind of a month-ish, maybe. We'll see how it goes. Let's see how his health goes first. But you got to think he's going to play the players. and he loves Arnold, like Arnie's places. So like the Arnold
That's
Palmer
close in a
Invitational.
couple weeks, though. That's a couple
I
weeks that
know.
he's got to do. So you might have to choose
Yeah.
there.
But he loves Arnold places. He loves Firestone as well. Big fan of it too. And
They're
he
not
loves
playing
the
at Firestone anymore.
Oh, really?
No, they play the WGC. That's now they play it in Memphis.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's why he hasn't been playing it, because it's no longer at Firestone.
Okay. But that's another thing. He loves WGCs. Loves them. So, he's going to really be able to pick and choose a lot because
I
does
think
love
Arnie
a lot.
and Jack's place, those will be the two that he'll play.
Yes. Definitely could see that. But you make a good point about the U.S. Open, and you make a good point about the Open. I could definitely see, like I said, the Masters, 100%. If he's able to play, healthy enough to walk around.
That'll be the one you can lock. That's a lock.
He's playing. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I definitely could see him potentially skipping out on the Open. You are correct in the U.S. Open, but I think he plays off. If he's got a shot to make it, get a Master or get another major under his belt, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do whatever he can. So
couldn't agree more.